Steve Yoder. Steve, there's one big question in this building today. The NCAA Selection Committee will be announcing the field of 64 later this afternoon. Will the Big Ten get 6 teams in or 7 teams in? And neither one of these two teams want to hurt their credentials.
Hey, I think they're
much less we're in the middle of the action.
I think they're trying to get rid of us, Wayne. Hey, you know what? I think we got 6 for sure, but I think we'll get 7 teams in when it's all done. I don't think there's any question, but this game does mean a lot to both these teams here today.
You know, and you pointed out to me in the beginning when we got here early this morning, Coach Yoder said, hey, these two teams score in different ways. Iowa on the perimeter, Indiana inside the three-point line.
Absolutely, Wayne. Iowa's the best three-point shooting team in the league, and Indiana's going to have to get out and defend. Here's Kingsbury, their top three-point shooter, and he'll drill them now. He's shooting over 50% right now from the field.
And Iowa leads the Big Ten in three-point field goals per game. Now, as far as the Indiana Hoosiers are concerned, the inside game will be key for them.
Well, that's right. They'll score inside with Alan Henderson, and then, of course, they're going to have to get some perimeter jump shots as well.
Both of these teams playing well. Going down the stretch, Iowa's won 6 of its last 8. Indiana 3 of its last 4. Iowa won the first meeting to open the Big Ten season in Iowa City in January. Back with the lineups when we resume. Steve Yoder, Assembly Hall in Bloomington. Let's check the starting lineups, brought to you by Discus Athletic Activewear, the way America plays. Murray, Settles, Bartles, Woolridge, and Kingsbury. Reed is healthy now off that shoulder injury, playing much better of late. Michael Herman's a freshman as well. Patterson, another freshman. Evans and Henderson are the veterans up front. Henderson, the only senior starting for Indiana here today. We'll have the start of today's game after these messages from your local station. This is the Raycom Network. 24th season here at IU. As we left the starting lineups, you saw Tom Davis in his 9th season. There he is right there. What a job he's done of bringing this Hawkeye team along. They've lost so many close games this season, yet never lost their resiliency. Iowa in the gold uniforms, Indiana in the home whites. And we're just about set to get underway. And the opening tip controlled by the Hoosiers. Neil Reed on the push. Patterson had a big game Wednesday night in Wisconsin.
Well, that's a great start for Indiana, and especially for the freshman, Patterson.
From the outside, Bartles left that one short.
Predictably, Wayne, the first shot for Iowa came from the three-point line.
Michael Herman, Neil Reed. Indiana sets it up offensively.
Iowa starts in a man-to-man defense. I think before long, you'll see him in the zone.
Evans for 3.
Well, that's their three-point shooter. That's their answer to Kingsbury and Bartles. Evans played well up at Wisconsin last week. In their last ball game, he played extremely well.
Jess Settles gets the first field goal of the game for Iowa, three-pointer.
2 shots for Iowa, and both of them from the three-point arc.
The difference between these two teams, Evans is the consistent Indiana outside threat. Reed can be when he's healthy, but Iowa has 3 or 4 options at the arc, and Settles is one of them. Michael Herman with a foot on the three-point line. Kingsbury the rebound.
They'll try and run it at you. Woolridge is a great point guard, and they'll try and get it up to 4 quick.
Woolridge hit the game-winning shot against Michigan State the other night. Kingsbury's first offering was from way outside. Patterson picks up the loose deflection. Nice interior feed. Nice. Henderson.
Nice pass inside. Great timing on the part of Allen. And he's played extremely well inside for Indiana the last few ball games.
Woolridge gets the lane.
Once again, a nice drive by a quality point guard. Feeling his way down the floor, making a good move to the basket.
Herman and Reed, 2 freshmen in the backcourt for Indiana. But they are no longer freshmen. They're veteran first-year players is what they are at this stage of the game. Michael Herman for 3.
They certainly are. Big rebound by Bartles. Here's the break.
This is Woolridge. Kenyon Murray. The pass out to Bartles for 3. Iowa off the mark for the most part from the outside. They made one of their 3 three-point shots.
Good decision.
Oh, nice look. Evans down low. Herman did not finish.
Well, Michael just didn't focus. Just didn't get it down, but that was a good play for Indiana.
Bartles finds Jess Settles. Traveling the call.
Well, that was a really good cut down the lane by Settles, and he went hard.
Jess Settles has asked to come out of the ball game, and now the Hawkeyes make a couple of changes. Glasper, Carter, and Skillett go in. Woolridge, Settles, and Kenyon Murray come out. There's Jess Settles.
Iowa's going to put a little pressure on here now and see how Indiana reacts to it. They've had some problems. Here's
yeah,
a hold.
Got a hold on Skillett as Henderson broke to the baseline.
Last ball game, Indiana had some problems getting the ball in bounds, and I'm sure Iowa saw that, and they're going to try a little full court pressure. Of course, Iowa's used to the full court press. They do it a lot.
Now again, Michael Herman on the inbound.
Good, over the top.
Here comes Patterson.
Nice job. That was a good job by going over the top of the defense that time. They were denying the ball, so Indiana just went over the top of it.
Indiana by 4. Montere Glasper. Kingsbury from the outside. Glasper knifes in for the rebound. Evans had good position on John Carter for the rebound. Indiana's lead is 4.
Take care of it now.
Patterson for 3. He was 4 for 4 the other night.
You don't have the numbers now, Glasper. You don't have the numbers.
Glasper sets it up. Carter posting down low. Skip pass to Skillett.
Well, Indiana's doing a good job of covering on the perimeter. They're going to get out and try and cover those three-point shooters.
Glasper, and he traveled on the play. Second traveling violation on the Hawkeyes. Been a shaky start.
You know, the one thing, Wayne, when you're getting out and covered on the perimeter like that, like Indiana is, it does open up some passing lanes for the inside game. Nice pass inside.
And Henderson was fouled down low. It's going to be Indiana basketball. Sam Licklider made the quick call. Foul is on Ryan Bowens. Bowen picks up his first personal foul, second on the team. Watch the pass right here. Neil Reed threading the needle.
Nice pass right in the lane. A perfect pass. Led him perfectly. You got fouled.
Reed's made a couple of good interior feeds here. Now that was a miscue by Brian Evans as Woolridge intercepts. And we've got a foul coming up. The first foul on Indiana.
That's probably a good foul, but he was passing it, so Jody's going to give him 2 shots, but he wasn't shooting it. He was passing it. I don't know if the other officials are going to pick up on that or not, but he was passing the basketball, no question.
Neil Reed is the guilty party on the foul, his first.
Well, they got together. There was no way Jody could see that, and the other 2 officials helped him out on it.
Woolridge on the turnaround, in close. Carter a rebound.
Big rebound. Big offensive rebound for John Carter.
Indiana's lead is sliced to 2. We are early going from Bloomington.
Little run and jump defense there by Iowa. They're back in a zone defense right now.
Evans at the arc, lips for 3. Bring it up.
If you're going to zone Indiana now, you're going to have to get out and guard Evans. Brian's having a heck of a run right now.
2 from 3-point land for Evans. He has 6 points. Kingsbury in close, in traffic, traveled on the play. 15:50 left to go in this first half. Indiana plays on the lead over the visiting Hawkeyes of Iowa.
The defense was denying the ball. The backside was open, and they threw it over the top.
Andre Patterson won the race to the bucket. Michael Herman on the inbounds. Couple of freshmen for Bob Knight's Hoosiers. Boy, the experience these kids have gotten, you know, and around the conference, if you look at it, freshmen and sophomore players have been predominant in terms of their numbers this year, playing key roles. Evans on the inbounds to Neil Reed. Bartles right with him. Now the Iowa Hawkeyes relax on the pressure.
Stay in that zone. They're going to have to know where Brian Evans is. He's really a threat on the perimeter.
Evans at the arc again. Ring it up again.
Well, once again, now Brian's the invisible man. Iowa can't find him. If they're going to stay in that zone, they're going to have to know where he's at.
Brian Evans was 10 of 14 from the field at Wisconsin the other night. And he's got 9 points on 3 trays here this afternoon. Indiana's lead is 8, biggest of the afternoon.
You know, Iowa doesn't have a really great post-up player at this point, anybody like Henderson. But if Settles gets inside and posts up, he can certainly get some things done.
Kenyon Murray for 3.
Well, that was a big shot. Good patience on the part of the Iowa team. And pretty good defense by Indiana.
Michael Herman struggling on the inbounds. The inbounds to Henderson, who came back to get it. Reed plays ahead for Evans.
Good decision.
Reed for 3. Indiana has 4 3-point field goals. This is a team that averages just 3-point field goals per game.
Well, Iowa's going to give you shots. You just have to be ready to take them.
Murray down low. Evans had possession of the rebound. It was Bartles over the back, and a foul on Jim Bartles. It's his first and the third on the team.
That last transition basket by Indiana was a great effort on the part of Brian Evans. Once he knew he didn't have the passing lane, he waited, and Reed spotted up, and he found him, and Neal knocked it down.
14 and a half to go. This is the first half of play. Indiana by 8. Herman out front. Again, Iowa packing the zone for the most part. 2-3 at the moment.
Indiana's trying to get it inside if they can. They're looking for a little better movement.
And they've matched up on Evans with Bartles.
Oh,
Reed for 2.
Nice move. A little penetration move, and he had the shot from 15 and put it away.
Penetration by Woolridge in traffic. Got a blocking foul coming up. Neil Reed picks it up.
Well, Andre Woolridge is really good at that, Wayne. He's good at getting his body into the defensive player. That time he got past the free throw lane line and just took it to the hole.
Kingsbury back in. Ryan Bowen leaves.
I don't know about you, but I always like to see guards that try to score once they get in the lane. And he took it right into the lane, and he was looking for the shot. The passing angles in there get kind of short, but if you can get the ball in there and get a shot yourself, you've got a high percentage shot. Plus, you get a chance to draw the foul.
Herman and Patterson leave the Indiana lineup. Pat Knight and Todd Lindeman are in. Andre Woolridge at the free throw stripe. Woolridge, as I mentioned, hit the game-winning shot against Michigan State on Wednesday night.
Well, Indiana's off to a really good start in this ball game. The one thing about it, though, Iowa has those perimeter shooters, and you have to always know where they are. They can get back in the game pretty quick.
Well, you saw the game that I did down at Illinois. Iowa got down by double digits, yet came back, tied at the end of regulation, and then finally lost in overtime. Woolridge makes good on a pair. Carter and Glassberg back on for Iowa. Just Settles comes off along with Andre Woolridge.
And Iowa keeps the pressure defense on full court.
Inbounds to Lindeman. Pat Knight clears. Here's Neil Reed.
Stay in their 3-2 zone.
Henderson's been quiet so far.
Take it in there. That's it, Pat.
Reed for 3. Long carom, and Henderson chases down. Second all-time leading rebounder in Indiana history. He's got a good chance to set the all-time mark. Henderson's first offering from the field is short.
Well, he really wasn't set. He shot that ball quick and really wasn't set.
Boy, Kingsbury, a bullet for Carter, who was open to the baseline, and John couldn't handle it.
A little quick pass there. John wasn't ready for it, but there wasn't anything wrong with the pass. You probably should have had this. But it was a little hard.
Carter leaves. Jess Settles comes on.
It's a bullet. There it is. And he's surprised to get it.
Kevin Skillett is in for Kenyon Murray in the Iowa lineup. Tom Davis makes a lot of changes throughout the ball game. Again, the full court pressure. Inbounds Evans, cross court to Henderson. He's got Bartles on him defensively. Blocking foul coming up on Bartles.
One thing about Alan Henderson, no matter where he is, if he's got the basketball, if he's dribbling the ball, he always seems to have good control of his body. He knows what he can do and what he can't do. He doesn't try to do things that he can't do. And he did an excellent job there drawing a foul.
Take a look at Henderson in the open court.
Yeah, he gets it in the open court, gets it under control. Now he's moving at his own speed. Can't go 90 miles an hour, don't go 90.
Michael Herman.
Oh,
good
nice.
interior feed to Henderson, and we hear from the big man.
Well, Michael Herman did a great job there. He looked into the lane. He was in trouble. He looked into the lane and found Henderson.
Foul coming up at the baseline. Sam Licklider with the call. Foul is on Neil Reed.
Right there, into the lane, bingo.
My apologies, the foul is on Todd Lindeman, his first and the third on the team. Neil Reed's now to the game. Sam Licklider held up his hand 5, and Of course, he meant 5-0, Todd Lindeman. Almost 7 minutes gone by. Good feed to Jess Settles.
You got to convert those.
Kingsbury in among the trees, blocked by Lindeman from behind. Here comes Michael Herman.
Control now. Good decision, Michael.
Evans, the drop for Knight, the block by Bowen. Pat Knight gets it back, and in the scrum, we've got a foul. It's on Kevin Skillett.
A lot of hustle on that play by both teams. Indiana did a great job of keeping the ball alive.
Make the foul on Ryan Bowen, his second, 5th on the team.
Drop back. You're going to see it once the ball goes up, it's blocked. Now you see all the activity.
On the inbounds, Dan Crispin's got a quick call. And Todd Lindeman picks it up again, his second personal foul, 4th on the team. Monterre Glasper moves it across for Iowa. Hawkeyes trailing by 10. Jess Settles and scrambling the call.
He dragged his pivot foot, I'm sure he did.
Jess can't believe the call.
Well, right now, Iowa just needs to settle down. This is not a place where you want to lose your composure.
Patterson back in place of Lindeman for Indiana. Woolridge reports on, replacing Monterre Glasper for Iowa.
They just need to settle down.
Pat Knight on the inbound.
You got to get a shot when it's your ball. One of the things you can't do is turn it over.
Indiana by 10. Pat Knight out on the floor.
That's great, because they gave Pat the shot, and you know he works on that every day in practice. He just said, to heck with you, you're going to give me that shot, I'm going to step in there and shoot it.
That's Pat Knight's first score in the last 13 games.
It's great for him to happen here on senior day.
Kingsbury settles in close, traveling the call as he went up against Patterson.
Well, he might be taking a long step there and keeping his pivot foot down, and they might be going for that long step, because I think he had his pivot foot down that time.
Watch Settles, bottom of your screen, number 4 in yellow.
Gets it. See, I think he was probably all right.
Shuffled his feet. Evans for 3.
You cannot let Brian Evans get started now. That's good timeout. Good
Tom
timeout.
Davis and the Iowa Hawkeyes want to talk it over. The Hoosiers are fired up and sharp. They lead by 15. Of red. We talked about three-point field goal shooting in this ball game and how important it would be for Iowa, but it is Indiana that has cashed into the arc. Brian Evans, one of his 4 trays, and he has fueled Indiana. 5 three-point field goals in the first 8 minutes of this ball game for the Hoosiers, and that has them on the lead, 27-12.
Well, he's an excellent perimeter shooter. They just got to find him now.
Woolridge bumping with Herman.
Iowa just needs to be patient. And that's what they're doing right now, and they're going to try to get the ball inside if they can. If they can't, they'll call their box set here. They'll look for a pick.
Woolridge penetrates.
Excellent pass. Good block.
Murray blocked on the play.
Henderson got it.
Evans
Great.
to Henderson.
Well, that was a great feed. Nice weight by Evans on Henderson.
Woolridge penetrates. Kenyon Murray has it slapped away by Herman. Indiana on the run. Herman fouled from behind by Murray. They will not score the field goal. Kenyon Murray's first personal foul, 6 on the team.
Well, they fouled him out on the floor, and it was pretty obvious.
Glasper and Skillett back on. Tom Davis, a worried look on his face, and with good reason.
Yeah, they can't. You know, Wayne, you get things going on a senior day in your home court. You can't, if you're the opposing team, you just can't let it get away.
Pat Knight on the inbounds. Tough pass to Henderson, who went up and got it.
There wasn't a lot of movement on that out-of-bounds play that time, and that was a good pass for Pat. A safe pass to throw to Alan Henderson.
Pat Knight left this one short. Just settles the rebound. Iowa basketball. Hawkeyes are trailing 29-12.
I'd say it's important for Iowa right now to get on the board with something, either a free throw or a field goal, just to stop the onslaught here.
It's been a while for Iowa. Got a foul coming up here on a push. Fouls on Brian Evans. It is his first personal. 5 on the team. Take the Gillette 3-point challenge. To enter, look for Gillette coupons in your Sunday newspaper or for Gillette displays.
That was an excellent inside pass, but they couldn't convert it.
Loose on the floor. Pat Knight comes up with it.
I'll tell you, Indiana's out scrapping Iowa right now.
Michael Herman. Foul is on Ryan Boehm.
Michael just made up his mind he was going to take the ball to the basket that time, and he did a great job. He got the ball up and almost got the roll, but got fouled. He's going to get 2 shots.
Ryan Bowen's third personal, 7 on the team.
Here he comes down the floor. He sees the opening. He goes right at it. Well, I like that in a guard. When he sees that opening, that he gets right in it, tacks the basket, tries to finish.
Coming into the ball game for the first time this afternoon for IU, Charlie Miller. Brian Evans leaves. To a round of applause that on this day would normally be reserved for a senior, but Brian Evans, a junior, has hit 4 trays.
Right now, IU's got 4 freshmen on the floor, and these guys are going to be a major impact in the Big Ten next year. They've been plugging, coming along. They just kept plugging this year. They've really gotten better as individuals, and because of that, the team has gotten better.
Indiana by 18, almost halfway through first half. Kingsbury.
Strong move.
Carter fighting Patterson, last touch by Carter.
Nothing going right for Iowa right now.
Louisville wins the Metro Championship. Kentucky beats Arkansas.
Good decision now, Michael.
Herman has to go back to get it. Steve Hart is in the game for Indiana as well. Patterson's pass was intended for Hart, but Hart had made his cut to the baseline. Off a rare Indiana miscue today, the Hawkeyes get it back. Oklahoma State wins the Big 8 Conference Championship. And at the half in the Big East, a good one. UConn trailing Villanova.
Iowa's been on number 12 for a long time.
Kicked out of bounds by Patterson, and it belonged to Iowa. Well, you're right. It's been a while since the Hawkeyes have scored.
It really has been.
Just settles back on. He has played short spurts here today, Coach.
Yeah, his conditioning, I think, really bothers him because of his injury, and he just doesn't go very long.
Of course, Jess Settles has missed 7 games with a back injury this season. He wears a back brace.
Well, I think Indiana's defense has been very good out here early, too. This has been one of the real problems. Along with their defense, they've just been out scrapping them on the boards as well.
Kenyon Murray for 3. Patterson the rebound. To another freshman, Michael Herman, and tipped away by Kingsbury. It'll be Indiana ball.
That's one thing that Michael Herman's going to have to do. He's going to have to learn to take care of the ball, get lower, protect it, know where people are before he attacks the basket.
That shot off the mark by Patterson. Here come the Hawkeyes. Iowa last score to the 12:59 mark. Got a foul here called by Dan Crispin. It's on Patterson. Andre Patterson picks up the foul. It's his first. 6 on the team. You can hear Bob Knight yelling, "Patience, Andre, patience." Here's the inbounds to Bartles. 9 minutes to go in this first half. Iowa on a 4-minute scoreless drought.
Henderson's doing a good job down there on defense, on settles.
Woolridge.
Well, they're off
the streak.
They're off the snide now. They're off of that 12. Maybe that'll help Iowa.
Jess Settles is warned not to come over the line defensively as he guards on the inbounds by Steve Hart.
Well, Iowa's very aggressive on the guy taking the ball out of bounds, and sometimes they'll come over that baseline.
Knocked out of bounds, and last touch by Iowa. Kenyon Murray got a piece of it.
tough to throw the ball into the corner against the press. It's just, angles aren't good. It's too easy up, there you go. It's too easy a place to trap somebody.
Plays right into the defense's hands.
Exactly.
Off the ball in the post. Got a foul coming up on Jess Settles.
Well, see, Alan Henderson and Jess are getting physical with each other. That time, I think if it was Settles, because of the aggressive play in there, he's trying to get the same advantage as Alan was working on him at the other end.
Henderson misses on the free throw. Here comes Woolridge. Jess Settles. Bartles hesitated on that three-point attempt.
Yeah, I wonder about that now. They start hesitating on their threes.
Indiana has numbers.
Great pass.
Herman finishes on the feed from Hart.
Steve Hart made a great pass. Michael Herman filled the middle lane hard, and Hart found him.
18-point lead now for the Indiana Hoosiers.
Well, I mentioned Iowa was hesitating on the three-point shots. That could be
Bartles on the reverse. Henderson rebound.
Can't convert inside, can't hit outside.
Boy, Jess Settles, it looks like he's hurting out there. Henderson down low.
Nice
inside. Beautiful move.
See, he just did such a great job. I like it when a big guy will catch it, turn, and face the basket to see where his openings are.
Woolridge. Nicely done. Had to get that shot away over the defense of the Indiana Hoosiers. Here's Charlie Miller.
Well, they're back in a man-to-man defense now, trying to change up and make something happen defensively.
Steve Hart. Herman. 10 to go on the shot clock for Indiana.
It's under 10 seconds.
Patterson had it blocked by Murray.
Good defensive possession for Iowa.
Woolridge in transition. Traveling the call. That's got to be the 5th traveling call on Iowa here this afternoon. 6:50 to go in this first half. Indiana plays on a big lead. 16 shots. The Hawkeyes built a 25-6 lead, and the Hoosiers never threatened. Here this afternoon, Iowa went 4 minutes of this first half without scoring. Indiana has taken advantage, and right now, the Hoosiers sit on an 18-point lead. 6:50 left to go first half.
When you live by that three-point shot, Wayne, that's going to happen to you sometime, and it usually happens on the road.
Herman barely able to get that away. Herman with a foot on the three-point line. Charlie Miller banging away at the board, saves, and no one's going to catch that. Be Iowa basketball. Take a look at the Big Ten standings. Purdue is the only automatic. How many of these other teams should go? Certainly Michigan State.
Well, I like all of them, Wayne. I really
do.
I really do like all of them. I think maybe we don't have a number 1 seed, but we got a lot of seeds between 3 and 11. And I think that Iowa would be just as well playing against most teams in the country as a 10 or 11 seed.
A 10-win conference record seems to be the benchmark for NCAA teams, but certainly teams at 9-9 have made the NCAA tournament out of the Big Ten on many occasions.
Well, that's true, and then Iowa's been injured almost all year long. They've had some key people out, so that's hurt them.
Carter can't convert in close. Woolridge comes up with it, and he's tied up by Henderson.
Well, once again, there's some fouls you like, some you don't. You had to make that foul right there to stop Woolridge from getting the 2 points, make him earn them at the line.
Henderson's first, that puts Indiana over the limit. 17 fouls. Andre Woolridge heading to the line. Woolridge with 6 points here this afternoon.
A lot of time left in this basketball game now, about 26 minutes. The second half, a little over 6 minutes here, 20 minutes the second half. But Iowa's got to get something going for themselves, either inside or outside.
Oftentimes the Hawkeyes, due to their pressure defensively, will score in spurts. They have not put together a spurt yet here today.
No, they haven't, and that's what, always in the back of your mind, and I'm sure Indiana knows that, Iowa can put the long string together.
Bowen in the lineup in place of Kingsbury. Pressure in the backcourt.
Well, Indiana's doing a good job of using the center lane right now to get the ball in bounds.
Hoosiers leading by 17.
Well, it's physical in that post. And Iowa's back in their man, and I think they may be better in their man right now than they are in the zone.
I think 5 3-point field goals. Indiana basically shot them out of the zone.
I agree. Don't foul now. You're
Evans,
under foul.
great feed. Miller denied by Woolridge, but last touch by Woolridge out of bounds.
Yeah.
Excellent offensive pass, interior feed that time, but Woolridge able to react quickly and break it up for the Hawkeyes.
Well, there's 2 seconds left on the clock if they don't change that. That was good defensive possession that time for Iowa.
Settles back to the lineup for the Hawkeyes. Anderson, now Herman gets it off just in time. Settles the rebound. Woolridge in traffic, threads his way. Bartles picks up the deflection.
They just got to get under control.
Tough pass for Bowen to catch in the post.
Just forcing a lot of things offensively. Bring it out.
Backs it out. Hart. Bowen the rebound. Woolridge gets by Herman. Herman tipped it away. Got a collision and a foul.
See, I think on Indiana's offensive end now too, I think they're shooting the ball a little quick. I don't think I'm not necessarily sure that's what the coaching staff's looking for.
Charlie Miller picked up that hustle foul. And Bob Knight doesn't like the call a bit. Here's Herman breaking it up initially. Now the race is on.
One of these open court plays where there is a lot of contact and the ball's loose. Well, he might have had a complaint there. It was, open court, no harm, no foul.
Woolridge has 8 points now. Iowa back to within 16.
One and done now, one and done.
9 points for Andre Woolridge. He comes out. Monter Glasper goes back on for Iowa.
Iowa's substitution helps them set their defense. That's another reason why there's so many substitutions after free throws. Long pass.
Henderson is a 2-on-1.
Nice job. Yeah, that's Evans there. He spotted that one, open up the floor, Wayne.
Indiana well schooled for the Iowa pressure today.
Well, they sure are. Well, they're looking up the floor.
Settles to Glasper in among the trees. Iowa plenty of time to set the floor.
Against pressure.
Settles for 3.
Against full court pressure, you always want to look up the floor.
Kevin Skillett's hustle keeps this possession alive for the Hawkeyes. Skillett nearly dragged that pivot foot.
He nearly did. I don't think he did, but they were wanting that. There he did.
Traveling the call, a carry by Bartles actually on that move to the lane.
He had that extra step in there, Wayne. That's what you and I might do.
Yeah, he kind of picked up the ball as well.
He's trying to get himself free.
Again, the Iowa pressure prevalent in the backcourt of the
center
inbounds.
lane.
Evans for 3, ring it.
They haven't learned yet. That's his 5th one. Got to find Brian Evans.
Glasper pulls up off the glass, nicely done. Pressure in the backcourt, here's a steal. And then the pass, last touch apparently by Indiana. It's going to belong, no, he changed his call.
Yeah, and that's probably a good call.
Sam Licklider changed his call. It'll be Indiana ball. Watch it here.
Yeah, you see the inbounds pass. There the Iowa player hits it. And it still goes on. I'm sure it went off of him.
Substitution for the Hoosiers.
Looks like Monter Glasper got poked in the face.
Well,
Steve Hart leaves.
Both these teams are really working hard, Wayne. I mean, they're scrapping. Both teams are after the loose balls. You love to see that. I mean, these kids they're playing 40 minutes out of a 24-hour day. They can go at it full blast.
Steve Hart went out, as I mentioned a moment ago. Got hit in the face as well on that scramble.
Good control.
Henderson.
Oh, nice move. Once again, you're talking about the control of a big guy. A guy that knows how to handle himself. He doesn't go 90. He breaks himself down and goes the speed he can go.
Just settles in close. Blocked by Henderson.
Allen Henderson.
It'll be Iowa basketball. We've got a timeout. Hawkeyes have set an all-time team record for blocked shots. Allen Henderson and company lead by 20. Indiana again on the inbounds against the Iowa pressure. Watch Henderson.
They're using Allen Henderson to get the ball inbounds, and he's doing a great job. Watch his body move here. Control, takes it right to the basket. Nice job by big guy.
Henderson is Indiana's all-time shot block leader. Watch him deny, settles here.
Perfect timing. He didn't leave his feet until the offensive man took the shot up. Didn't go for those fakes.
Woolridge backdoor Bartles before Henderson could get there. Goaltending the call as Henderson slapped the backboard. 41-23, the General on the lead. And here come his Hoosiers. Pat Knight. I believe they've got Pat on a foul as he followed his shot. Bartles had the rebound.
Well, I know what's going through Pat's mind. They're going to give me that shot from 8 feet. You got to go in there and take it. You can't blame him. They're going to give him that shot early. You got to take it right in there with confidence and shoot it.
As I mentioned, he had not scored in the previous 13 games prior to the little jumper he hit earlier in this first half today.
It looks like he's short-arming that instead of just going up and shooting it. Give it a chance.
Jim Bartles at the line as Indiana is over the limit. Makes good on his first. Stay tuned at halftime when Dick Vitale presents the Dish Out the Winners sweepstakes. Brought to you by DirecTV, sponsors of the DirecTV Grade A tournament.
I imagine right now, Wayne, if Iowa could knock this thing down to 10 by halftime, they'd be satisfied, 10 or 12.
Indiana has numbers. Hawkeyes hustle back. Henderson, the pass to Teddiver Herman, thrown behind him.
Okay, you got to recognize time and score in these situations, and there's no hurry. You're up 16, you got 3.5 minutes to go. You take care of the basketball.
Woolridge and Skillett the back line for Iowa. Kingsbury settles and Bartles up front. Settles down low. Nice move.
He's so strong and quick in there if you get him the ball.
And got a foul on the backboard here as Herman comes out of there with it.
Well, they did. They put a hand right on him, and you can't do that.
That's Andre Woolridge, his first, and 9 on the team.
Well, Iowa's done a pretty good job now here the last 3 or 4 minutes, cutting this lead down to 20. I think it was 21 at one time. Now it's down to 14.
Hawkeyes earlier in this first half, if you weren't with us, went 4 minutes from about 13 to 9 minutes to go in the first half without scoring, and that's when Indiana builds its big lead. Bartles denies the feed to Henderson. It'll belong to Indiana.
Boy, these two teams really are well conditioned because their reactions are great. Passes, they're getting their hands in the passing lanes, creating a lot of problems for each other.
The inbounds off the mark. Mishandled in the play by Indiana, and here come the Hawkeyes off the turnover.
Here's a chance for Iowa now if they'll get a good shot. Indiana's playing that good, solid defense.
Man-to-man, and it's extended out beyond the arc.
They're not going to give them just anything now. They'll handle a pick-and-roll situation right here.
10 to go on the shot clock for Iowa. Here's Kingsbury off a screen. Quick release for 3.
And that was good defense. Michael Herman was right there on him, and he just went up and knocked it down. He's got great range. Kingsbury just has super range to shoot the 3.
Kingsbury had made 41 of his last 83-point attempts coming into today's game. Under 3 minutes to go.
Well, Allen Henderson's working hard to get open inside. I think he gets open a lot of times. They just can't pull the trigger to get it to him.
They'll give Pat Knight that shot all day.
Charlie Miller
for 3.
I think he's going to be a great player for this program.
7 trays for Indiana in the first half of this game here today. This is a team that averaged 3 3-point field goals a game coming in. Foul on Pat Knight and Chris Kingsbury as they tie it up. Pat Knight picks up the foul. It is his second personal. Super bonus time for Iowa. 2 shots coming up.
You're going to see strong one-on-one play down here on defense and offense between Pat Knight and Chris Kingsbury. Looks like they got hooked up and just could not, he couldn't make a move to get open, and they were just hooked into each other.
Pat, that's a move that'll work real well in the rodeo, though.
Well, and usually, though, you know, Wayne, in a situation like that, the defensive player is going to get the foul call on him.
And you mentioned it a couple of times here, Steve. Both teams have really hustled. Iowa has not had a good first half. They haven't played particularly well, but there's no questioning their hustle, their desire. And Indiana has hustled and played very well.
Well, they certainly have. And they're using that middle lane again, using Henderson to break the press. That's good. Good decision there by Michael Herman.
Pat Knight.
Get some ball movement, you'll be fine. You'll get an open shot with some ball movement, body movement here.
We're under 2 minutes to go in the first half. Henderson at the back line.
Oh, my goodness. Alan Henderson, once again, he's the leader of this team on the floor, doing a heck of a job.
Beautiful delivery from the perimeter as well.
Just amazed with the hands that Henderson has, because he catches a lot of passes in traffic. Fouled out on the floor.
Foul is on Alan Henderson. It is his second personal. So Kingsbury heads to the line, gets a pair. Ryan Bowen coming back on for Iowa. Iowa's #1 in the Big Ten in free throw percentage. Here today, the Hawkeyes have made 6 out of 8 so far.
Indiana's pushed that lead back up to 15. Now it's 14.
Kingsbury with his second upcoming. He's just under 80% from the free throw stripe. Hawkeyes take advantage of the line.
Watch one to get it to Henderson.
Charlie Miller, tough pass to Henderson, deflected away. Murray got a piece of it.
Very good defense that time by Iowa.
Kingsbury on a force. Foul on Iowa over the back.
Yep, some aggressive play coming in over the back of the Indiana players.
Kenyon Murray the call. His second personal. Super bonus time for Indiana with 1:07 to go in the half. Iowa's inbounds pressure has been prevalent every time Indiana has taken the ball off.
Watch the guy on the ball, active with his hands, active moving his feet, chasing him down. Everybody else denying, and they have to throw the ball over the top. It just couldn't hook up that time.
Patterson, number 45, replaces number 44, Alan Henderson.
Boy, Alan Henderson having a great day here. His final game on this court.
Henderson 10 points in the first half. 2 shots coming up for the left-hander. Ryan Evans. Evans about 78% from the free throw line.
Boy, he's having a good offensive day too. Evans is scoring for Indiana today, and they need him to score.
17 for Evans.
You know,
Skillet is on, Murray leaves.
For Indiana to do well in the tournament, Evans is going to have to be a factor for them, because they need to have that second guy scoring, and then they'll probably have to find a third.
Russ Millard is in the lineup for Iowa for the first time today. Pass into Settles, and we got a 3-second violation. Indiana basketball.
Let's watch the pressure get on the ball here and see.
Pat Knight.
Once again, over the top. Over the top. Good decision.
Once the inbounds is made, Iowa relaxes the pressure, plays the half-court defense. Ryan Evans, watched by Russ Millard.
Russ doesn't want to lose track of him now.
Under a minute to go in this first half. 10 on the shot clock for Indiana. Evans on the drive.
Boy, nice penetration, good body movement, good control of the body, getting the shot up over the defense.
19 for Brian Evans in this first half. 17-point lead Indiana. Final seconds ticking away on Iowa. Glasper.
Oh, nice move and a perfect job using the glass.
Hoosiers try to hustle to beat the clock. Michael Herman.
Oh,
no, but he was fouled. Offensive foul.
He may have called a travel. I'm not sure, Wayne, what he was calling. Called a
I
walk.
think it was a travel. You're right.
Yeah.
He traveled on the play. I thought he had an offensive foul out there. Here's the long inbounds. And the first half comes to a close.
Well, Indiana did a great job building that lead back up.
Well, disastrous first half for Tom Davis and company. Bob Knight and the Hoosiers head off at halftime, leading by 15 over the Iowa Hawkeyes here on Seniors Day at Assembly Hall in Bloomington, Indiana. We'll be back with our halftime activities coming up after these messages. Basically the story there, 14 turnovers bogged down the Iowa offense. Indiana excellent shooting throughout, 7 of 10 from the arc, and they did a good job as far as turnovers were concerned against the pressure. You know, Steve, as you watch Indiana's freshmen, and I mentioned this early on, you can't make too much about freshmen at this time of year. When you're like Indiana and your kids have been playing all season long, they're experienced first-year veterans by now, but they've handled the pressure very well. Freshmen usually crack under pressure of the ilk of Iowa, but not Indiana. Their freshmen have held up well.
They've done an excellent job, and you've been able to see that in the last 6 or 7 games. It just seems like the freshmen have been coming along. I'm sure it hadn't been as quick as the coaching staff would like it, but they've been real solid.
You know, there have been 2 teams that have been, I guess, dominated by freshman participants, and you look at Michigan with their freshmen, and Indiana's the other one with 4 freshmen playing a lot of this scheme of things for the Hoosiers. And I would dare say that Indiana's freshmen, although not as spectacular perhaps in some respects as Michigan's, have improved as a class a little bit better than the Wolverines down the stretch.
Well, I think maybe they have, and I look for Indiana and Iowa both to challenge for a Big Ten championship next year.
Iowa dominated by sophomore talent. Kingsbury in close. Start of the second half.
See, Iowa really needs to get off to a good start, and that isn't it in the beginning. Now they need to have a good early defensive stop.
Michael Herman out of the perimeter. Brian Evans up high. Indiana's lead is 15.
Iowa stays in their man-to-man defense.
They open the ball game in a matchup zone. Or I should say zone. They matched up later on as Evans got hot.
That was the problem. They didn't get matched up.
Evans from the outside for 3.
Brian Evans' day. You give him the shot, he's going to take advantage of it. He feels it. Well, this is not the start that Iowa wanted to get off to.
Got a foul on Jess Settles down low as he tried to clear a path of the baseline away from the ball. And Jess Settles, his second personal, first on the team. Not a good start for Tom Davis or Jess Settles.
No, Jess has got to control that energy. He's a hard worker. Don't want to be committing fouls right here. He's got him tied up.
Henderson tied up. Going to belong to Indiana on the alternating possession.
Well, Iowa stays in the pressure defense, full court pressure defense, trying to create some turnovers, trying to get some easy baskets. There Indiana uses the middle lane again.
And you're right, the middle's been open on the inbounds. Patterson was surprised by that pass. Neil Reed sets it up. Herman on the drop.
Nice move by Michael Herman.
Indiana comes out and scores the first 5 points of the half. They now have a 20-point lead once again.
Well, this has got to be a concern for Iowa.
Settles operating baseline. Blocked on the play by Patterson. It will be Iowa basketball. 21 to go on the shot clock.
We'll see if Iowa can score here off of a set play.
Settles on the inbound.
Good coverage by Neil Reed.
Indiana's defense all day has been up over the arc if it has to be.
Well, they've done a good job of team defense. I mean, that's the key to playing good defense. Good team defense.
Woolridge was bumped on the drive. It looked like Neil Reed got him.
Well, you got yeah. When a guy makes a move to the lane like that, you've really got to move your feet. Now, Andre, I'm sure, was really good at getting his body into somebody. Got his body into him. May have used his free arm, but at the same time, you got to move your feet.
Neil Reed's third personal, first on the team. Woolridge in among the trees, thinks better of it.
That was a smart play on his part because he would have got his shot blocked down there.
Indiana, as I mentioned, has set a school record for block shots in a season. That's a travel on Kingsbury.
Well, Chris got in a hurry and didn't get the ball on the floor before he drug his pivot foot.
Another Iowa turnover, and there were 14 of them in the first half.
Well, unfortunately for Iowa, they're getting off to the same kind of start they got off to in the first half.
They could ill afford that. 2 minutes gone by, second half. Henderson in the block. Tried a no-look pass to Patterson, and the Hawkeyes come away with it. Woolridge on the move. Interior feed denied by Patterson, picked off by Herman. Here's Reed.
Oh, good job.
Knocked away by Murray. Reed collects. Herman at the arc thinks better of it on the drive.
Nice penetration move there. I was wondering if they were going to get the ball out of the corner, but he found an opening to the basket and took it to the basket.
Woolridge travels.
Seen a lot of traveling calls today, Wayne, and that's just good defense on the part of Neil Reed.
Reed kind of tied him up a little bit, and Andre went into the air and came down to the ball.
Say Neil Reed is really, I know the shoulders bother him all year, but he's getting so much better. Over the top, 2-on-1.
Henderson.
Oh, nice job. He's always under control. Allen is very seldom ever caught in a situation where he's out of control when he's handling the ball.
Bartles drains one from the arc. Iowa's first points of the second half. They now trail by 21.
Got the lid off. Got the lid off anyway.
Yeah. Hawkeyes went almost 3 minutes without scoring here at the outset of the second half. Long inbounds pass. It's the sideline, and it's going to go back to the other end.
Well, Brian needs to make a good decision here. He makes a good pass. This is the one where he hooked up with Allen, and Allen's going to come down under control and make a good decision here. Squared up, knocks it off the glass.
Settles on the inbound. Monteer Glasper.
Well, Settles is a little frustrated because when he's open inside, they don't get him the ball.
Settles just 5 points here today on 2 field goals. Skillett. 15 to go in the shot clock for Iowa.
Here comes the pick and roll situation.
Glasper finds Settles. He's up against Henderson.
Oh,
Henderson
nice rebound.
claims the rebound and a foul on Skillett.
Well, there was some really good defense played there by Indiana. I don't know if you saw it, but Alan Henderson came over to help after the double team, or after the pick was set. He helped in the low post, and then he gets the rebound. But he's coming off. They're going to see the pick and roll here. Here it is. There's almost a double team. Watch, Henderson's the guy that picks up Settles. Stays right with him, gets a hand on the ball, knocks it loose, gets back into play, and gets a rebound.
Indiana, as a result, resumes offensively. Almost 4 minutes gone by, second half. Iowa has just 3 points to show for its second half thus far. Neil Reed for three.
Nice job. Nice job kicking it back out.
Glasper trying to answer for 2. Reed picks off the long carom.
Need a good possession now.
Herman to Henderson. Glasper was moving in defensively, and the foul is called.
Alan Henderson running the floor, doing a nice job. Michael Herman trying to lead him, and Allen got fouled.
Glasper's first, third on the team. Things not going well at the outset of the second half for the Hawkeyes. They trail 62-38. 15 at halftime. They have started the second half on a 12-3 run, covering the first 4 minutes and 2 seconds.
You know, Wayne, this game is similar to the game that was played at Iowa, only it's just been reversed. And I'll tell you, since 1990-91, Indiana's played 67 games in here and has won 63 and lost 4. I mean, they have done a tremendous job in here.
Should be pointed out, this is the final game on this particular floor. They will remodel the interior of this building a little bit. Kenyon Murray on a break. Gets it back, finds Carter inside, scored, and a foul on Evans. Brian Evans, second personal, second on the team. John Carter will go to the line.
You know, another achievement that Indiana has, and it's hard to believe this, but 24 straight winning seasons, that's not hard to believe, but 24 straight winning seasons for Indiana in here. Loses control here on the replay, gets it back, finds John Carter inside, dumps it in. John finishes it, gets fouled.
Carter completes a three-point play. Iowa with the pressure off the made free throw. Neil Reed.
Decision time.
That's
big,
two.
Big shot by Neil. I think you can see the abilities of Neil Reed.
He's going to be a fine shooter for this team.
Oh, when he gets totally healthy, watch out.
This is Carter. Kingsbury penetrating. Tried to hit Ryan Bowen with a pass. Spacing not what it should have been. Pass too tough to handle.
Stay in with the press. Over the top pass. Middle court open again. 3-on-2.
Reed at the arc.
Good decision. Get that shot now, you can get it later. Burn some time.
Indiana leading by 23. Intended for Henderson. It'll belong to Iowa. Last touch by Alan Henderson.
That's a tough pass to make. But, you know, Allen, as good as he is, I think those perimeter guys just think he's going to catch it every time they throw it into him.
Got the great hands.
Yep.
Kingsbury.
Well, you knew he wasn't going to turn that one down. He was wide open. He came up the middle of the lane, caught a pick, and was just wide open.
Pressure in the backcourt. Michael Herman. Here's Henderson against Ryan Bowen.
That was a good job looking ahead, looking up the floor by Herman.
Evans for three. Henderson the rebound, and Kingsbury trying to go over the back.
You know, it just seems like every rebound that comes off, no matter what end it's at, Alan Henderson is there. Just smells it out.
Alan Henderson, number 44 and right. He gets position down low. The miss by Evans, but it is Henderson
right there
who's in position to get that rebound.
80% of the time or more, it's going to come off on the weak side. He knows that.
Evans.
Oh, nice pass.
Beautiful feed to Henderson.
Great feed by Evans. First a shot fake, and then Allen got open, and he shuffled the pass right to him.
Kingsbury, an NBA three, and he's heating up.
Yep, Kingsbury's heating up, and he's going to have to stay hot for him to get back in this one now.
His third tray of the game.
Big time.
Steve Hart flying to the bucket.
Nobody wanted to get in his way. He was like a runaway freight train.
Woolridge for three, and they're starting to rain from Iowa. 12 for Andre Woolridge. 18-point lead Indiana.
They need a good offensive possession now with ball movement, body movement. Looking for a good shot. Still got a good lead.
Henderson off the feet from Evans, not that time.
It's a tough play to make when you catch it in the air and try to make it while you're up in the air instead of coming down, gathering yourself.
Kenyon Murray. Steve Hart, boy, he's got springs in those legs, doesn't he, Coach?
He's got great athletic ability.
18-point lead Indiana. Evans for three. Here's Kenyon Murray and a foul on Steve Hart. First on Hart, third on the team.
Well, Iowa's gotten warmer on the perimeter here, and the tempo of this game has picked up. I don't know if that's going to help Iowa or not, but they like the up-tempo game, but they're down 18. They're going to have some defensive stops as well as being successful on offense.
Monter Glasper is in, replacing Andre Woolridge. Iowa Hawkeyes trailing by 18. Settles back door to Kenyon Murray, late with the delivery, and that cost them the ball.
He was open initially, and then when he forced it in there, the timing was off.
Evans on the inbounds to the middle lane again, this time to Hart. Here's Alan Henderson.
Well, I like the idea they're looking up the floor, Wayne, trying to break the pass rather than looking into the corners.
Henderson.
Oh, great move.
You talked about body control so often with Alan Henderson here today, Steve. That was a graphic example of the type of thing you've been talking about.
Yeah, and I'm sure that's one of the things that the NBA likes about him. See, that's something you don't teach. Players can either have the ability to create that type of move and then do it or they don't. Most players try to do that too fast and don't have themselves under control.
Neil Reed has just picked up his 4th foul, as you see there. He's coming out. Charlie Miller back in. Reed, a pretty good day with 10 points.
Yeah, I'd say that Indiana's got to be real happy with his play today.
Settles got it in just in time to Glassford. Kenyon Murray was fouled by Steve Hart. 2nd on Hart, 5th on the team.
You know, Jess Settles is getting open a lot in the low post, but they're just not able to get the ball inside to him. Off of out of bounds plays, he's getting open. As soon as he throws it in, he steps into the low post and tries to post up, but they're not able to get him the ball.
Kenyon Murray at the free throw line. Out of Battle Creek, Michigan, leads the Big Ten with 2.2 steals per game. Set a Carver Hawkeye Arena record with 9 steals earlier this season against Ohio State. Kingsbury commits the foul. That's his 2nd, 5th on the team already.
There's Alan Henderson with another rebound, going up for a rebound, being aggressive, good timing. I like the way Indiana's been breaking the press here too. They're running somebody deep out of this, which is another thing I think you have to do, because it opens the court up.
Bounce to Evans. The deflection, Skillett to Kingsbury. Just settles, stopped, and a jump ball. Beautiful play by Brian Evans, who got his hand on the ball. And Jess Settles has been frustrated today on many occasions, denied an opportunity to score there.
Indiana's half-court defense, especially in deep, has been really good today. You're going to see it right here on the replay.
Just a nifty pass.
Yeah, nice pass. He needs to explode right away. But see how quick Evans reacted to it.
Alternating possession. It'll belong to Iowa this time. The officials were checking with the scorer's desk for a moment. They wanted to check the shot clock. They're going to put 31 on the board. Inbound to Kingsbury. Quick 3. Henderson again. Good position on the rebound once again. Part of good rebounding is planning ahead, knowing where to be, where the ball's going to come off the rim.
There's a real knack to it, being sensitive to where the ball's being shot, knowing it's being shot, getting to the glass. You know, whether you agree with Dennis Rodman's antics or not in the NBA, if you'll ever study and watch him when he's playing, he's moving all the time. Doesn't make any difference who shoots the ball, he's smelling it out. Henderson is a lot like that in the fact that he's always aware of when the ball's going to be shot, and he likes to rebound.
Jess Settles just picked up his 3rd personal foul. He comes out. That's 16 fouls on the Iowa Hawkeyes. Carter is in. Michael Herman
gets his own shot back.
Steve Hart. Evans to Henderson.
Out of time.
Charlie Miller. Henderson on the block. Double team from Skillett. The open man is Miller. Hawkeyes can't handle it.
2 Iowa players battling for the rebound, and they lose control of it.
No questioning the hustle by the Hawkeyes. They have not been able to put it together. This afternoon at Assembly Hall, his Hoosiers lead by 20. Indiana continues to shoot very well. They shot 59% of the first half. Iowa not shooting very well in the second half, although that's an improvement over the 30-some% they shot in the first half.
Well, it really is.
9.
They got the majority of the second half to go now. If they're going to get anything going, they've got to start soon.
John Carter warned.
They're getting warned. That's the second warning. I don't know if they're going to get a technical. Bob wants a technical foul because it is the second warning.
And they're not going to get a technical. Inbounds to Henderson. First time it happened, it was Jess Settles. Second time, it was John Carter. That's probably why they didn't assess it.
That could be. That could be. It wasn't the same player.
Iowa zoning on the out of bounds.
But I'm not so sure it has to be the same player.
to go on the shot clock.
I was in the zone that time. And there Herman gets the open shot.
Herman has 9. That's a 2-pointer. Here's a steal by Evans.
3 on 2.
Charlie Miller went down off the ball. Evans just threw it up to try to get rid of it. Miller's hurting. Here comes Kenyon Murray. Scored and a foul on Michael Herman.
Well, at the other end that time, I think it'd been better for Evans if he just could have turned around and got his balance. And, he tried to make a tough pass, a really tough pass.
Foul on Herman is his first. That is 6 on the team. Bob Knight is storming, and Charlie Miller, somebody bumped him in the knee, it looked like.
Personal foul is Indiana, number 30, Michael Herman.
Bob Knight not at all happy.
Well, I wasn't sure what happened here, but he's upset with something. I think it happened away from the ball.
You see on the left side of your screen, that was Charlie Miller who was down.
Yeah, I saw him go down right at the end, but I didn't see another player over there with him.
Miller remains in the game. He's all right. 3-point play completed by Murray. Foul coming up on Murray here on the inbounds. His 3rd, his 7th on the team.
We've got a lot of wild action going on right now. Get things back under control here. A lot of time left in the game. Time for Iowa, and Indiana could just, if they take their time, they could really stretch this lead.
Michael Herman heading to the free throw stripe. Bob Knight continues to talk with Dan Chrisman.
A minute now, Knight. Bob's trying to smile.
Michael Herman made 5 of 6 free throws down the stretch Wednesday night at Madison, Wisconsin, to help keep the Hoosiers afloat on the road in a big win.
Well, every possession right now means so much for Iowa.
Settles for 3. It'll be Indiana ball.
See, and those kind of things don't help. You shoot the ball and it goes over the top, and it's automatically rewarded to Indiana without them having to even get a rebound.
Technical foul. Just Settles came over the baseline. Second time on Settles.
Settles, yeah. Well, they warned him earlier, and then that's his second time, and that must mean what it is. You can warn each individual player, it must be.
Take a look at it.
What they're doing is they're stepping over the out-of-bounds line to bother the inbounder, which you cannot do. You got to keep your distance. It's a 3-point distance. He hadn't been over yet. He's on. There he is. Now he's on the line. You know, and that's a real bother, especially when the offensive player can't move. If it's a spot foul and the ball's dead and he can't move, you know, that's really the advantage then going to a guy who's defensing the ball out of bounds. If he can run the baseline, it's another matter.
Evans makes good on a couple. At the line, he has 24 points here this afternoon.
I don't think Tom had any problems with that. He knows that that's, you know, a problem if it happens.
Settles was warned in the first half and picked up the technical in the second half.
Perfect.
Oh, beautiful entry from Evans, and Henderson has been
fantastic.
A Baryshnikov inside with his footwork, hasn't he?
He's been terrific. Oh, there's Henderson again.
Henderson comes up with it. Herman.
Oh, good hands.
Henderson finishes. Yes, and a foul.
I'll tell you what, these people aren't going to forget Henderson. They're up right now giving him a standing ovation. And I'm sure they're just appreciating the effort of the senior plus his teammates.
Standing ovation from the Indiana faithful for senior Alan Henderson. Indiana's lead is 25.
This is a terrific play.
Henderson comes up with it.
Yep, he comes up with it. They're coming out with it. He's going to give it up, and guess what happens? Good things happen to you when you give it up. You get it back. You use your body control. You get the ball in the hole. You get fouled. He's 11 out of 13, Wayne. 23 points, 17 rebounds.
Pizza Hut delivery of the game. You'll love the stuff we're made of. Alan Henderson at the free throw line. Henderson 11 of 13 from the field, 23.7 rebounds. Indiana's lead is 79-53, settles in traffic, been a tough day for him.
Well, Indiana's interior defense has been very, very good today, and they're just not giving them anything in there.
10 to go on the shot clock for Iowa. Woolridge gets a screen from Settles for 3. Back tap by Kenyon Murray. 9.5 to go for the game.
Another three-point attempt.
Kingsbury. Kenyon Murray the rebound.
Came off the weak side, and Iowa was there to get it.
Bartles for 3. It's just not there for Iowa today.
Oh,
Woolridge frustrated.
Well, you have days like this. When you do, you just got to keep battling. The only thing, you got to keep battling, hoping somehow you can get back into it.
The Hawkeyes aren't the first to have a game like that here. As you pointed out earlier, Indiana's won 64 of the last 67 games in this building. Foul here on the overplay defensively.
Well, they're playing aggressive inside. Iowa's trying to do the best they can in there. That time they hacked on the arm.
Jess Settles picks up the foul.
There you go. You see the pass go inside. Settles reaches over, gets the foul. And I think he is frustrated. Things aren't going his way. I think he's getting frustrated. And, just hadn't had the kind of game he'd like to have his last game his sophomore year.
Henderson, a rare miss. Traveling on Kingsbury.
Well, same thing. He's not getting the ball on the floor before he lifts his pivot foot.
Earlier today in the Big Ten, Purdue wrapped it up, the Big Ten championship. Congratulations to Gene Cady and the Boilermakers. 73-67 over Michigan. Louisville wins the Metro. Kentucky on top of Arkansas in the SEC championship.
Good patience here by Indiana, looking for the good shot now. They're going to take what defense gives them. There's some tough play inside. Tough play inside by Ryan Bowen and Henderson. Bowen fouled Henderson.
And Ryan Bowen picks up his 4th personal foul. That is 10 on Iowa now. So everything from here on out will be a 2-shot foul for Indiana.
Well, and Indiana will, I think, now be patient. They'll work the ball and they'll look for the good shot. And I'll guarantee you, if they can get it inside, they're going to put it inside. Allen Henderson working hard in the post, and you'll see Ryan Bowen trying to work around him. Look at Allen, keep moving his feet. He's got a great base on him. Wide base, and he keeps the defense on his back.
Henderson having a big day on this his final game at Assembly Hall. Kingsbury raises a force for 3. Oh, he had Brian Evans on him that time.
Well, they're not having a good shooting night on the perimeter because Indiana's out there guarding them.
That's a push off on Henderson down low against Ryan Bowen. Henderson's 3rd personal foul, 7 on Indiana. 1-on-1 opportunity coming up.
You know, Iowa is the leading three-point shooting team in the conference, and if that's what they have to go to on the day when you're not shooting well, Wayne, it's not dropping for you, you'll have a long day.
Well, it takes you out of a big part of your game, Coach.
It really does.
You were mentioning this morning as we talked that Iowa gets, what, 33% of their offense from the three-point line.
Yep.
You're not making it out there, and they were 3 of 10 in the first half. You're going to struggle.
That's absolutely right, and they have all day long.
Hawkeyes have also shot poorly at the free throw line for the most part today. The few attempts they've had. Evans, nice hesitation move.
Yeah, he got in the gap, though. They left him a seam, and he got into it.
26 for Brian Evans.
It's a high percentage shot, that shot he just shot.
30-point lead, Indiana. Kenyon Murray for 3.
3-on-1.
Evans behind his back.
Perfect.
Henderson gets it back.
Yeah, he gets it back, misses it, gets it back. But it's amazing. Henderson following Evans, and Evans knew he was behind him.
32-point lead, Indiana. Remember, Iowa's the only team that really dominated Indiana in Big Ten play this year. Woolridge connects.
Well, that's right. Indiana's been in a lot of close games. And I think it's payback time.
Evans to Hart.
It's a 30-point lead right now.
Iowa's 74-55 win over Indiana and Iowa City on January 4th was the biggest margin of victory against Indiana in Big Ten play this season. 6.5 to go in this game. Bowen had a nice pick, but ran out of real estate at the baseline.
Well, and we mentioned once before how tough it is on everybody to win in here. Indiana's only lost 4 games in here since 1990, 90-91 season. 67-4.
30-point lead for the Hoosiers. Henderson in the block, deep against Bartle.
Nice move. Well, he does such a great job of getting a wide base and keeping the defensive man on his back. And then when he gets it, he's just got a good knack of getting the ball up in the basket. 3-pointer by Kingsbury.
15 for Kingsbury, his 4th tray of the game.
And he really didn't have to work for that one.
Evans finds Hart.
Pass. Great pass in there by Brian Evans. Hart cutting into the lane. Indiana's playing at its best right now.
Woolridge. 16 for Andre Woolridge. Charlie Miller in the inbounds to Steve Hart. Picked up by Evans.
Oh, it goes right to him. It's IU's day.
It's one of those days for Indiana.
But they've earned
the ball bouncing your way.
Well, and they've played extremely hard, and most of the game they've played smart. Good things happen to you.
Settles for 3. Kenyon Murray got a foul coming up as Charlie Miller moved in on him, his 2nd personal. 8 on the team.
Everything's gone Indiana's way this ball game. Just like in Iowa in the first half, everything seemed to go Iowa's way. Here comes Pat Knight back in the ball game. Here's one of the real leaders on the basketball team, too. Pat Knight, Pat and Alan Henderson.
The 2 seniors.
Well, it's invaluable, I know as a coach, to have a guy around like Pat Knight. Maybe he doesn't play that much, but to have that senior leadership in the locker room when the team travels, and just having that guy on the practice floor, knowing what's expected out of everybody. Another big rebound by Henderson.
Pat Knight. Evans on the tip, got fouled by Millard.
Well, Pat had that one down and came back out. Herman found him. You have to take that wide open shot. He almost had that one down. It was in and out.
There's Pat Knight. He doesn't look to score, but he's had open looks at the bucket all day when he's been in the contest.
Yeah, a lot of people told me he shoots the ball like his dad shot at Ohio State, you know. Well, Bob probably not going to appreciate that.
Well, Bob played behind some great ones. Havlicek and Jerry Lucas on those Ohio State teams.
Oh, he sure did. They had some great teams. He's got a good looking young team here right now.
Really does. They're going to add some size to this team next year in the recruiting wars.
Well, they've got a good guy out of Joliet Junior College, Nasinovich, who's going to be added to this team, who's really having a good year. But I think Indiana and Iowa and Michigan, those 3 teams next year, because of all their youth this year, and there's another team I had in mind too, it's slipping me right now. But those 3 teams I know should have good years next year.
Under 5 minutes to go. Indiana leading by 33.
Keep moving.
Henderson from Pat Knight.
Perfect pass, up high, let Allen go get it. Allen's having a great day. There was a mismatch inside that time, and Pat Knight saw it, got the ball up to him.
Last spurt at Carter and got a hold here.
Yeah, Evans got him on the arm. Got him on the arm before he went up.
Third on Brian Evans, 10 on the team.
Personal foul.
Both teams in the super bonus. Murray and Woolrich back on for Iowa. And Carter at the free throw line.
It'll be hard to keep Indiana away from the century mark today with 4 minutes and 25 seconds to go in this game at 95-60.
Carter off the mark on his first. Indiana's played very well since that game up in Michigan a few Sundays ago where they shot under 30% and a loss to the Wolverines by about 10, 11 points. Since then, they've played very well. Settles and Bowen back on for Iowa.
They're still pressing. Good double team. Just look up the floor.
Woolrich takes the deflection. Kenyon Murray. Michael Herman the rebound.
Take care of it. Get control, Michael.
Herman lost the handle on it and traveled.
Coach is upset with him, and that he should be. I mean, point guard's got to know what in the heck's going on out there. Get the ball up the floor. That's your first job, but under control. Then start sorting people out.
Steve, in a 30-point game like this, got a holding foul on Charlie Miller, his third. In a big margin like this, Steve, I guess as a coach, you continue to try to teach and discipline your basketball team, right?
Absolutely, and that's what Coach Knight was doing right there, because he knows he's got a great talent here in Michael Herman, but Michael has to learn what to do at that point guard or lead guard position. And you know, they're getting ready to go into the tournament too. So you don't want to be doing those things in tournament play. One loss, you're out of the tournament. So you got to keep coaching till the game's over, and both ends of the floor. Tom's got to be thinking the same thing.
In Iowa, you know, people may be wondering, why are they pressing with a 30-point game like this? Why don't they just relax and get this one over with? Well, again, Iowa is playing its game.
That's right. They're doing what brought them here. That's good. Giving the ball up, see if he can get it back. Nothing there. Center the ball. Get organized. You know, the game's totally in Indiana's control right now. They just have to finish up strong, doing the things that they normally do instead of doing things not execute.
Ryan Bowen tipped away the interior feed, but right to Michael Herman, who is 13.
Yeah, and they were fortunate there because there was a double team around him.
Settles left it short on the tray attempt.
And the passer should recognize the double team and not force it in there. Center the ball.
Kicked by Kingsbury out of bounds. And we will step out for a moment. 3:21 to go. Iowa on the road, losing big at Indiana.
We changed.
Look at the two seniors. It is Seniors Day here in Indiana. Pat Knight, a senior, out of the perimeter.
And finds his fellow senior inside. Look at Allen, how high he got up there. Great pass. Allen's behind the defense. A smaller guy, Skillet on him, I think. He threw it right over him. Great
Indiana
timing.
Leading 97-63. 3:21 left to go. Inbounds to Charlie Miller.
Coach Davis keeps working on his guys. He wanted to pursue that pass. Now Indiana, a good chance to work on execution against the opponent. Forget about the score and everything. Just work on your offensive half-court execution. Try and improve for the next game. Nice
Henderson,
pass.
31 for Alan Henderson.
Well, it's a wonderful lead pass by Herman that time to get the ball into Henderson in the low post.
Woolrich off the glass.
Nice move around the basket by Andre Woolrich.
Woolrich tipped it away. Kenyon Murray knocked away by Michael Herman, picked off by Pat Knight. It's like a pinball out there. Kingsbury. Here comes Millard.
Be careful this time of the game if somebody doesn't get hurt. You know, anybody on either one of these teams getting hurt going into tournament play.
Knight. Henderson.
Great pass. The two seniors hooked up again.
What a show.
Knight to Henderson.
Millard down low, lost the handle on it, got it back and was fouled.
Boy, that was a heck of a lead pass, and the timing was perfect.
And the two seniors embrace.
What a game Alan Henderson has had here this afternoon. What a way to end it on the home floor.
Alan Henderson coming out.
What a great career he's had here. Standing ovation, a sea of red, pat on the back from his head coach. Congratulations by all of his teammates. 35 points today, great rebounding game, 9 rebounds. What an effort. I suspect that if everybody could go out a senior, this is the way they'd like to go out.
Henderson leads on a 35-point performance. Millard at the free throw line makes them both. Inbounds to Pat Knight. Knocked out of bounds. They belong
Once again, that's
to Iowa.
a really tough place to put the ball in that short corner there. Always a lot of traffic there. Kingsbury looking for the shot.
He was fouled by Charlie Miller. Miller's 4th personal. Kingsbury heads to the line. Well, let's talk about it. Big Ten. Will 7 teams get in? If Iowa gets in, they'll get in with a 9-9 conference record, 19-11 overall.
Well, Wayne, I think this performance is not indicative of this Iowa team at all. I think they've had, having lost 4 one-point ball games in the league, having lost an overtime game in the league. This is a tough place to come in and play. Kansas found that out when they came in here and lost to Indiana by 20. Kansas has been talked about all year as one of the top teams in the country. Well, Iowa's having a bad day. Indiana's having a terrific day. And Evans got this team off to a great start today, the junior.
Evans had 5 3-point field goals in the first half. He had 6 in the game.
Good inbounds pass there by Knight to Miller.
Ryan Evans leads with 28 points.
Now you don't need anything for Indiana, just needs to move the ball and be solid, and Iowa needs to play good defense the best they can. The game is over. It's been over for a while.
Final
just play
2 minutes.
Good basketball.
Pat Knight, ring it.
Nice job by Pat. That makes everybody feel good in here. I like to see those seniors get that smile on their face like Pat just had.
Murray in the lane. Time winding down, 1:30 to go. Murray stays with it and banks in 2.
Well, and both teams are still staying at it. Iowa's still pressing, still trying to trap. They're still banging people on the boards, trapping in the half court. Charlie Miller. Oh, they're hot today. I don't know if I'd be wanting to play Indiana in this NCAA tournament. I'm telling you, I said it last week.
Murray down low.
They're getting better and better, and they're starting to play more like the Indiana teams in the past. It's been their youth that's held them up this year, and that injury to Neil Reed.
10 3-point field goals for the Hoosiers here today. Woolridge intercepts the Knight pass. And Woolridge all the way. He'll be back to run the attack in hopefully the NCAA tournament and then again next year for the Iowa Hawkeyes. And an official's timeout here.
Timeout, yeah.
Charlie Miller, checked with Charlie Miller briefly, and now they make some changes. Pat Knight heading on.
Out. He's coming out to a standing ovation also, Wayne. This has been a great team leader. I've always had a lot of admiration for kids like this. I've had them on my teams. There's dad and son hugging. There's some tears being shed there, I guarantee you. It's got to be a great feeling for both Coach Knight and for his son. Great personal feeling.
Half a minute to go.
Nice baseline move.
Charlie Miller with the tomahawk.
You could see it coming. Looked like a Cheney move down there on the baseline.
Didn't it though? Kenyon Murray. Met by Lindemann. the foul.
Well, I just got to say something, too. I mean, I know what Iowa has got to be going through. As a coach, this will happen to you once in a while. But they've stayed with it. They've continued to go with their game plan. Yeah, it's tough. It's even embarrassing sometimes. But you stick with what brought you there. You keep your confidence. You try and recover from this. It's not easy to recover. But, hey, they're going to look towards the tournament, too. And they'll be ready in that next game. This is just a tough place to play against a really tough team today.
Kenyon Murray's having a good second half. $15 for Murray in the ball game. And up into the ball game, Nate Cook for Iowa. The inbound to Robbie Eggers.
You got a 2-on-1.
Herman to Miller.
All right, good job.
Final seconds.
Oh, the action's
And
still there.
Indiana has defeated Iowa 110-79. The Hoosiers now 19-11 overall, 11-7 in Big Ten play, and they finish the season 11-2 here at home. For Iowa, 19-11, 9-9 in Big Ten play. Back to wrap it up after these words.
You saw the embrace they gave each other at the end. It shows how emotional this game was.
And you know, the other factor that I found out when I got here this morning was that this floor, this was the last game that will be played on this particular floor, 19 years old. They're going to do some remodeling in here during the offseason. They'll have a new basketball floor down. Now, I understand you didn't play on this floor, right? This started with the 76 team and won a national title.
Right, just after the year I got out. In fact, I was with the Bulls the year that this floor came on. A lot of history on this floor. It's going to be sold piece by piece, probably going for a high ticket.
Well, here come the Hoosiers, Coach Knight and company and the seniors. And in just a few moments, we'll be hearing from them in a very special ceremony. Seniors Day in Indiana is one of the special places to be.
It is. The kids don't get to talk a lot during the year, during their career. But on senior night, Coach Knight will make a few remarks, and then the players get the microphone. They're able to say anything they'd like, and it's always very interesting.
I got to ask you, though, before we get to this, what was it like for you? What were your thoughts as you took the microphone?
It was brand new. Coach had done it just the first year, and Steve Green, a senior classmate of mine, was the only one who spoke. He represented all of us, so I did not get the chance to do it, but it's very interesting to see what the kids have to say.
All right, let's go to the ceremony here in a few moments. Coach Knight is walking out right now, and he'll be at the microphone in just a moment, and we'll address this big crowd. There is Coach Bob Knight. Had to be a special moment a little bit ago, just a few minutes ago, basically, when Coach Knight and his son embraced as Pat Knight came out his final game at Indiana here at Assembly Hall.
Another thing I noticed, Wayne, is that Coach grabbed that ball, that game ball, as he walked off the floor. Very unusual. I haven't seen him do that before, so I'm wondering whether that could be a nice memento as Pat's last game that Coach Knight has that basketball.
Not easy to be a son and play in the shadow of your father, a famous father like Bob Knight, and play for him at Indiana.
But I don't think either one of them would change it. Let's go to Coach Knight.
First of all, I think would really like to thank you for once again the support that you've given us all year. There were a few sorry people in here that I hope I never see or hear in Assembly Hall again as long as I coach here. I'd just as soon those people take their tickets and go somewhere else. The vast majority of you folks have been such great fans that the people like you just don't exist anywhere else in the country than right here at Indiana. And when we started the season, we had as an objective not really to win anything or a championship of any kind, but to be a better team defensively, to be a better team technically and fundamentally defensively. And I think these kids accomplished that. I said at the beginning that I wasn't sure that we would win as many games this year as we did last year. Well, right now we have won as many games as we did last year in the regular season. And yet we've had some ups and downs, and we've had a couple of those downs right here, but you kept coming back, and the support that you gave us in games like Purdue or Penn State or Illinois or this game, after we really hadn't played very well, I think means as much to me as at any time in all the years that I've been here. We don't know, obviously, until a little bit later exactly where we're going to be. I would hope that between now and when we play in the first game of the tournament, you guys don't forget how you played here today. This was pretty good. I'd like to have all the guys and the gals over here to my left that are seniors this year take a couple of steps forward, would you please? I'd like to have all the seniors in the pep band stand. Would you do that? And you girls and young fella here, when you leave here, don't forget that I got you those shoes while you were here. Make sure you understand that. Let's have the seniors in the pep band with one more round for the gals, the guys in the pep band and the cheerleading squads and everything here. You kids and the kids before you and the various groups that you represent here have been a great, great part of Indiana basketball, and you've done an awful lot to make Indiana basketball what it is. And we hope you seniors will always remember as you go on that you've had a part of this and be as proud of being a part of it as we are at having you doing the kind of job that you groups have done with the basketball team as long as you've been here in school. Thank you very much. The person that probably has to go through the most for me is our senior manager, and we've had a really good senior manager. He's been with us for 4 years. He's from New England. He's from Boston. Nobody here really understands him yet, which is probably a good thing. When he was a high school kid, he wanted to come here because he really liked Indiana basketball. Came all the way from Boston to Bloomington just to be a manager, and he's been a damn good one. Brian Zappich. Brian, stand out here. He dresses well, but it doesn't cover that accent. When we recruited Alan Henderson, his dad kind of conducted this like it was a CIA operation and went through all kinds of things. Alan, I think that we could tell your dad now that you sure as hell had no interest in visiting either Stanford or Duke when he made you do that. Don't you think we can tell him that? They sat down at the table one night, and part of Dr. Ray's CIA operation, and everybody sister, brother, mother, father, and Alan. Right down where they think Alan ought to go to school. 5 schools that he should consider. So Mrs. Henderson writes her schools down, puts them in an envelope, they put them away. Now it's time for Alan to decide where he's going to go to school. They open Mom's envelope. Her 5 choices are Indiana, 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 Indiana. So Mrs. Henderson obviously occupies a place in my heart as one of my all-time favorite mothers. Alan has been a great player here. Alan has done things here that very few, and in some cases no players, have done over a 4-year career. He's been a great kid on and off the floor. I've had to tell him to run or rebound occasionally, or block out, or not take a bad shot, or a certain shot that I don't think is particularly good. But in 4 years, I never once had to tell him to get to a class. I never once had to correct him for anything that he did off the basketball floor. We've never had a better person play basketball here, and there have been damn few players that are in the same class with Alan Henderson as a player here at Indiana. It wasn't easy for Patrick to come to Indiana. This has not been an easy situation for him. Patrick could have gone to a lot of smaller schools and played basketball, and probably played it a lot more and in a lot more of a front position than he has here. He grew up watching Indiana basketball. He's chased balls on this floor for everybody from Steve Green to Michael Jordan. And I was extremely happy when he decided to come here and play. And playing as a role player, knowing that you're going to play a couple minutes here and a couple minutes there, requires a special kind of a kid. And I think Patrick has been that during the time that he's been here. I have a great admiration for him in choosing to come to Indiana, knowing that it was not going to be an easy 4 years for him. And I look back over the players that we've had, and I love Alan Henderson. He's one of my favorite players. Cheney, Woodson, there are a ton of them. But I leave you with this, and then I turn it over first to Patrick and then to Alan. I do leave you with this thought. Patrick Knight is my all-time favorite Indiana player.
Kind of sounds like my critics went on spring break. First people I'd like to thank, and first of all, I learned from last year's seniors, especially Todd Leary. I'll try to cut this short. I'd like to thank the pilots with air transportation. And we'd also like to thank Jay Sears and all the people who work in the equipment room, and Mary Ann, BJ, and Melissa, who are our basketball secretaries. And I'd like to thank the coaching staff. I'd like to thank Coach Ellenberger, Coach Dockage, and Coach Felling for all that they've done for me, not just on the court, but off the court. And I'd like to thank Craig Hartman, who's kind of been like my personal coach all through 5 years and probably been one of my best friends. I'd like to thank my teammates. I know the year hadn't really gone as well as we've all planned, but I don't think you could ask for a better group of guys to have as your teammates or to call your friends. And I just want to thank them for everything. And I think you can expect a lot of great things from this group in the next 3 or 4 years. I'd also like to thank all my past teammates, all the guys I played with in the past, and especially the 2 guys over there, Todd Leary and Pat Graham, who ended up being 2 of my closest friends while I was here. I'd also like to thank D. Carson. He's a man that kind of makes everything happen in Assembly Hall and makes sure everything's going right. There's a group of people that kind of seem to be around practice all the time. They come see us leave. You know, they come see us when we arrive back from the airport, and they always have a positive thing to say. We really enjoy having them around. And those people would be Mr. Charlie Deckard, Anita Kay, Mr. Wiggins, and Mr. Bill Armstrong. And we'd like to, just me and the team would like to thank them for all their support. I'd like to thank all the people in the academic office, especially Buzz Kerpius, who kind of pushes you and prods you, you know, to finally get your degree. And I just want to thank her for everything. A lot of times, it's, you know, a lot of guys don't like going over there to talk to her, but it kind of seems when I go over there, we really don't talk about academics. We end up talking about her family and things. And I've just really enjoyed my relationship with her, not just in college, but before I got here. I just want to thank her. And I want to thank my family. I want to thank my mom for all their support and always being there. And I'd like to thank my dad for just giving me the opportunity to come here to play. And I want to thank my brother for always being there. And I'd like to thank my girlfriend Laura for kind of putting up with me these last 6 years. And I'd like to thank her mom and dad also for the support they've given me. This next person, I really didn't want to really talk about anyone individually, but this next person, he's not on the basketball team, and he's kind of someone that he and I have a special relationship. And he came here the same time I did, and I think it's kind of ironic when you have 2 coaches' sons that come to the same university and play for their fathers. And it's also kind of ironic that both our fathers are the top coaches in their profession. And this kid had a great career here. And I just think he needs to be recognized, and I really don't want to thank him, I just want to recognize him. That's Todd Yeagley from the soccer team. And I just want to thank all my friends and the people that supported me. I don't want to name off individuals because I'm afraid I'll forget some people's names. And I just want to thank you all for just staying by and supporting me. And there's also 3 places that I'd like to thank. A lot of us go there, and I think you can't ask for better people when you go to a place, to these places. And first group of people are Frank, Bob, and Harold at Crosstown Barbershop, Newt Chitwood at Newt's Marathon, and I know that my friend's watching Jim down at the pit, and I just want to thank them for everything. And I want to thank the medical staff. I want to thank Dr. Rank and Dr. Allfeld for everything they've done for me. I really haven't been injured that much, but I just want to thank them for always being there. They've kind of been more than doctors. They've been friends to me. And I want to thank Dr. Bamba, who's been my doctor since childhood, but He's kind of like a father figure to me and someone I love very much. And I want to thank him and his family for always being there for me. And the last people I want to thank are you, the true fans, the ones that have stuck with us through the good and the bad. And you don't care, who the first man on the team is or who the 12th man is. You're just proud of us because we wear this uniform. Thank you. I forgot two people. I want to thank Tim Garl, the trainer, who, started out as my babysitter and ended up being my trainer. And I want to thank Frank Exton, our weight coach, for always being a good friend. Thank you.
Okay. I have a long list of people to thank. Some of them are the same as Pat's, but bear with me because I think it's important that I thank them myself. First, I'd like to thank God for making all this possible. I also like to thank my family. My mother's here, my sister Catherine, my brother Pete, my dad. My cousin and niece is up there too. How you doing? Okay. I'd like to thank all my frat brothers in Kappa Alpha Psi, especially the nonprofits. They know who they are. That's an inside thing. I'd also like to thank my teammates standing here today. And my teammates that I've had throughout my 4 years, especially Pat Knight. It's kind of tough. It's tougher being a captain than you might think, but I'm glad I had Pat there with me. I also like to thank the coaching staff, Coach Knight, Coach Felon, Coach Dawkins, Coach Ellenberger, and Craig. I consider Craig a coach. They all have meant a lot to me and helped me develop my game and working with me. I'd like to thank them a lot. I also like to thank, as Pat just did, Tim Garl and Frank Exton. They played a very critical part in my rehab process after I had my knee surgery, and that meant a lot to me, and they've always been there pushing me and trying to keep me healthy. I'd like to thank Dr. Bamba. I've been sick a few times. One time I was so sick I had to stay at his house for a couple of days, but I don't think he and Mrs. Bamba, they didn't mind too much. I'd like to thank them. I'd like to thank Dr. Rink. Dr. Rink puts us through a strenuous stress test every fall. It's always a pleasant way to start the morning with running as long as you can, as fast as you can on a treadmill until you drop. I'd like to thank Dr. Alfeld, Dr. Shelley, Dr. Shelburne, who did my knee surgery, and his staff, especially Mark DiCarlo, who was the trainer that started working with me, all the fans from above, fans from my church at home, Trinity Church, my barber since I've been here, started out with D. Rice, and now it's Ishmael Blackman, Milo and George back home at Kinney's. I'd like to thank Dr. and Mrs. Wiggins for everything they've done for me since I've been here. My AAU coaches when I seriously started playing basketball, Mr. Dunn and Red Taylor. I'd like to thank Dr. Holland, one of my biology professors, Dr. Sangalang. I'd like to thank Buzz and the whole academic office, the managers, the pilots, the bus drivers, and all the fans. I'd like to thank all you guys. All right, I was trying to do it as fast as I could because I have some other things I'd like to say. Well, when I came, I'm just thinking about when I first came here after my freshman year watching the seniors give their speech. I really didn't understand what was going on. I was kind of standing there wishing they would hurry up so I could go sit down and get dressed and get out of here. But, since then I feel like I've just learned a lot, and now I realize, and they will also when it's their turn, how important it is to get a chance to come up here and say what you have to say. When I came, I had read Season on the Brink. I had talked to everybody. I felt like, I was ready for anything that could be coming my way. But, I don't think there's any way you could possibly prepare yourself for what you experienced with Indiana basketball. But I'm still here, so I guess that means something. You know, I'm just so glad that I came to Indiana University for a lot of reasons. I mean, there's so many things, but I think that my favorite memory since I've been here was clinching the Big Ten championship here, and of course, there's a lot of memorable events that happened during practice and maybe some in the locker room, which I'll keep to myself. But I don't know. It's just strange, you know. It's all coming to an end. It seemed all coming to an end for my regular season. Let me clarify that. Okay. But I mean, I just like to say that I'm glad I came here. And once again, thank the coaches for everything they've done on and off the court. Sometimes it gets a little tough, but everything they've done was to help me just become a better basketball player and, more importantly, a better person. I mean, the coaches, they all teach us lessons for life. So, you know, I couldn't have got that anywhere else. And I think the freshmen are ready to go. I don't want to pull a Todd Leary either, and I think it's about time for the pairings, isn't it? So thank you, everybody.
Got it. My pleasure.
When what?
Oh, absolutely.
Congratulations and good luck to the IU women's basketball team advancing into the NCAA tournament, playing Georgia at Athens, Georgia this next Friday.
Georgia, Athens, Georgia.
Indiana's girls team.
Oh, girls.
Chosen
I was going to say,
today by
yeah, it's a little
Georgia.
early. Not quite.
See you during the tournament. And then, of course, the start of our 1995-96 basketball season.
The home of the NCAA.